Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene, Citadel Crusade Season 2. Today, or tonight, we begin the scene on the edge of, on the southern side of the Merchants District. As Menmon has been seeking some advice on a fairly specific set of matters and situations, and has been invited by his by a clanmate, another neonate like him, one known as Zoya. She runs a brothel on the southern side of the Merchants District. Anyone watching may find this to be fairly familiar to them, as known as the Blooming Rose, and that is the direction Menmon finds himself heading tonight. I'm sure just to seek advice and nothing else in particular. To be honest, that's probably fairly accurate.
Yes. Memnon would and I'm sorry, would Memnon know where to find this neonate precisely, or roughly about?
Yes, in the Merchants District. It's not. It's far enough away from your domain so as not to be noticeable.
And this
but it's still not that far away. It's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
And this Canite was this one Memnon happened to meet the first time he was introduced to the Seneschal?
No, I don't think you've seen much of this individual.
Okay. Then I presume maybe guided by word of mouth.
Yeah. She sent a Gaul to you. Looks like she found out how to correspond with you through the Seneschal, considering her message.
Okay. All right. Then yes, Memnon would make his way towards I guess what he would suspect is a meeting place, if not this person's haven. But when he arrives in the approximate area, he would begin to look around for her. He would also presume that some description of himself was given to her, so she would know who to look for.
Yeah, as you look around, I mean, it's a brothel and has all the brothel-y things going for it. It's actually quite big. Let me find an image for you. I believe I actually have one. There you go. It's actually quite big. It has like a second floor and everything.
Oh.
So it's not quite actually that big, but it is actually fairly large. And it is more or less impossible to avoid all the salacious activity going on, as not all of it is happening behind a set of curtains, so to speak. But as you kind of just tune out the mortal nonsense that really is of no interest to you, you eventually spot a fairly well-dressed woman, considering the particular environment. I think you have seen Zoya once or twice, so I think you do recognize her off of sight. She seems to be kind of eyeing you, kind of like off to the side down a corridor where it doesn't appear there's any of the sort of, well, commercial activity this place has going for it. She's just kind of sitting by a table in near that corridor. They do actually sell drinks in addition to selling sex to kind of go well together.
Well, Memnon, thinking that this is the person whom this meeting was arranged with, he would approach them casually, but he wouldn't necessarily announce himself until he was at least within earshot. He would call out to her softly, not to draw attention. He would say, excuse me, are you the Zoya that had sent word for the smith?
She looks at you and just says, "Oh yes, I believe you've only met once. The meeting of where you were considered an unexpected arrival to the city's court." You kind of look back to that original meeting where you were kind of dragged into that kind of spire. She was there among them. Not particularly noteworthy, though.
Ah, yes, I do recall now. It is a pleasure to see you again.
Yes, I heard you were looking for some manner of teaching in a very specific area.
Memnon would he would adjust his posture, something a little bit more perked up. Might even have a smile on his face and say, "Why, yes, I do enjoy the pursuit of all sorts of knowledge, but there is something amongst only our breed that one could perhaps teach me. Would you be that teacher?"
I am but a neonate like yourself, but I suppose that very much depends on your commitment. Perhaps we should discuss this elsewhere. She will get up and begin walking over to the corridor, which is literally just round this table. It's like right next to the corridor. But there are several tables. Some of them are kind of close to other corridors, but they lead to, again, areas where the business activity of this establishment takes place. You don't really hear as much noise or activity or talking down this corridor. She'll just kind of make a gesture towards the corridor and just say, if you kindly.
Yes, Memnon would follow right behind.
As she kind of walks down, she just kind of casually remarks to herself, "It was not long ago that I remember these halls were quite destroyed."
As Memnon see any signs of destruction?
No, I mean, you can see areas of former damage that have been repaired. It's been fairly well repaired, but the fact that it is noticeable that it has been repaired suggests that it wasn't perhaps the best craftsman available. It doesn't look impeccable, it just looks good. Like a nice repair job. But you definitely noticed there are areas where this has clearly been broken before, particularly as a craftsman yourself. Perhaps not in this particular area, but you do have that sort of breadth of knowledge that, yeah, it's definitely this place has definitely been damaged before, and it's definitely been repaired. A lot of the damage that appears to have been repaired, at least here, is superficial.
Okay. I think Memnon would make some comment about the good work that whoever the was, what work that they put into restoring it.
I was fortunate enough to possess the income for it. A lot of it was freed up after my sire departed.
So I assume your sire is never going to return.
He vanished into one of his self-constructed oubliettes after a botched kidnapping. I highly doubt he'll be returning in the future.
Out of character, would Memnon know what she means by oubliette?
What's your clan law? 2?
Did that come automatic, or was I supposed to purchase that?
It comes automatic. I was just wondering if you purchase more via freebies.
No. So it would just be 2.
Okay. Roll me diff 8 then. Because even among the slumbering mysticism isn't really common knowledge, particularly oubliettes. We're kind of getting it's like abyss mysticism is known, but the complexities of it are a different thing altogether. So I'll just set us up in a dice roll real quick. Actually, I should also have you make a hunting roll or whatever. Let's see. I just need to. I always forget this code. I always forget this code. Okay. I'll just try that. Okay. Yeah, if you'd just like to roll in dice roller free.
Okay, let's see. So let's get the hunt out the way. Guess I'll do a social since I'm already in the merchant's district. I will try mundane application of option. Let's try that. Okay. Okay, that would bring my total pool to just 5. Ugh. Do you need me to roll self-control?
No?
Okay. All right. So let's see. Intelligence clan lore, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wow, that's actually a botch. You said defeat, right?
I defeat, yeah. So,
I say something stupid.
Obliate, it's a secret dungeon. You've heard of that word before. That's clearly what it is. It's a super secret dungeon. Apparently, there is a dungeon beneath this ruffle. Clearly.
I see. I guess Memnon would come off as, forgive me if you would, but perhaps you are better off if such competence to be lost in a dungeon. Your sire would have been. I think you are much the better.
She looks at you a little bit incredulously. Incredulously. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it right the first time. Sorry, I've been having trouble with my words recently, so I'm always double checking myself.
Right.
Yeah, so she looks at you I got it wrong now. Damn it. Incredulously. And she's just, yeah, she's very much she very much just kind of stares at you for a moment. And we'll just looks like she's about to say something, but in fact decides that she will in fact drop it, and we'll just continue moving on. As she kind of walks down the corridor, you do see a few of what appear to be staff. You're not sure if they're ghouls or not. There aren't many of them. It's literally just 3 people. And she just says, well, if you want to consider his bedroom a dungeon, I suppose.
It seems to have benefited you, so it could not have been the worst of outcomes unless he was your teacher.
He was to be, but I believe he involved himself more in the political infrastructure of the city than his morality should have dictated. He was an ardent follower of the road of the abyss, a road he thrust upon myself, which I have since shrugged off.
Can I perform a P&E to maybe see what kind of temperament she has, at least at the moment?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I guess maybe to kind of get her demeanor or nature, something like that. I know I probably couldn't figure out her road just like that, but where she's at.
I mean, figuring out someone's nature and demeanor is pretty tricky. There are actually powers largely devoted towards figuring that out. Soul painting perhaps being the most famous and powerful example. But you could probably try and figure out what she how she, because empathy is kind of like picking up emotional ticks. So yeah, you can kind of get a read on her based on what she's saying. Yeah, that's a lot of successes. So, but the way she refers to the Road of the Abyss, despite obviously you've been looking into the notion of abyss mysticism, she does not actually seem particularly adherent to the abyss itself. She does not seem to give. She's not necessarily openly disrespectful to the Road of the Abyss, but perhaps there is some quiet resentment from how perhaps her sire forced the road upon her. She does not seem to give it perhaps the respect that many others would give it, or at the very least a caution. She seems to talk. The way she talks about it seems to suggest she is almost irreverent regarding the subject matter.
Okay, Memnon would just keep that to himself, what he picks up. He lets her speak and continues to listen if he continues to talk.
He met an untimely end, but one he ultimately constructed for himself. And we are not a sympathetic clan. Nor are we particularly forgiving.
He tried, he failed. That is all that matters.
He used to be the master of harpies before leaving, when the princedom was handed over to what is now a former prince. He went traveling for a great many years, then returned. I myself largely took care of his holdings while he was away.
And you seem to have done well for yourself. Memnon comments as he looks around.
Not as well as Omar Shadid. He seems to be quite a talented fellow in the art of entrepreneurship, but I have made this place my own, yes. This, I believe, is where my side used to handle business. She opens the door to a very plain room. It's just a table and 2 chairs, well, 4 chairs. Nothing else remarkable about it. It's literally just a fairly dark, unremarkable room with a few candles. I keep it alight.
Okay.
I haven't used it since it was repaired. But a good a place to talk as any. I have about as many questions as you do.
I would gladly answer them. If you would care to ask me first, please.
On the topic of indulging perhaps the deeper mysteries of the darkness that our clanmates did not, why is it that you desire to learn anything of it at all? Most of us look away and engage in different ventures entirely.
I suppose our control over the darkness is a matter of legacy, a matter of tradition. It was it was conveyed to me by my sire how trekking with the darkness, with even the very remote gift of blood that is natural to us. It can be treacherous, hazardous. And yet its versatility, its power could be endless. So I would seek to master that craft, to master wielding such a potential birthright. I would rather have knowledge of something than to understand it and never use it, than to trek with it not knowing anything.
She kind of considers your answer. Do you want to make such an awareness roll real quick?
Sure. I gotta get some awareness one of these days.
Considering what you want to learn, I would suggest it.
Yeah. That's if it's anything above a 7.
You notice the sort of... It's a hard thing to notice because the light in here is quite dim. But the shadows do seem to have an unnatural life to them. Now, of course, this could just be Zoya playing around with the shadows in the area, but if she is, she doesn't seem to be paying much attention to it.
Memnon will take note of it, but he's not going to show his hand as though it's something that bothers him. Though I think he would probably just would wonder if this is her doing unconsciously, or is this the beginning of the lesson, so to speak.
Yeah, you do feel like you got, how many successes did you get again? You got 2. So yeah, the second piece of information is that you do feel a presence here other than Zoya herself.
Okay.
But it's definitely sort of an all-encompassing feeling. It's not it doesn't point you in any direction. It is very much... It's like when you're being followed and you can kind of feel someone's eyes in your back.
Right.
It's that very much kind of unsettling feeling of someone's looking at me and I don't like it. She doesn't actually seem to wait answer. She actually answers you back quite quickly. You'll find that is very much an assumption that many in our clan possess. The darkness is no birthright, and if you treat it as such, it will eat you alive.
See. Then, in what way should we regard it?
Those who follow the darkness would treat it with much reverence and would insist you do the same. But at the end of the day... Actually, what should I say at the end of the day? She's La Sombra. The end of the night. It is still nothing more than an extremely dangerous and unwieldy tool.
Is there an intellect behind it? A being? Or is this a nature, force of nature?
To condense the Abyss into any one concept would not be doing it justice. As I said, it is a tool, but it is one with agency. And it has many aspects to it which have a much more refined agency. But even this barely even tells you a fragment of what it really is. As much as we'd like to say otherwise, the honest truth is that our understanding of the Abyss and what it truly is limited. Partially by our own perceptions. Partially as it has no real intention of sharing all of its secrets to us. Why would it? These are things we've had to force, coerce.
So, when you say it deserves reverence, does sacrifice come into play? Does meditations, psalms, and please do not take what I am saying as jest. I have a very limited interest in most of mankind's theologies. But if how you speak of the Abyss is true, and you are clearly much wiser in the matter than I, then how does one properly revere a thing that is part tool and possessing agency?
Like any poorly understood concept, it is often revered by those who lack the clarity or initiative to seek greater understanding. I grant the Abyss the respect it deserves, but I give it nothing more than this.
If I may, being a smith myself, I work a forge, and the danger that fire itself presents to our kind. Yes, I do not praise the fire, but I need the fire to work what I do. And in the potential danger that fire represents, there is a respect I must give to it. Because if I don't, well, I don't respect it, it will surely disrespect me.
The dangers of fire and your work are real, yes, but I would not equate it to what you wish to embark down. The Abyss will not simply lash out like an act of nature. It is not simply a misused forge that could lick your skin with punishing flames. These are based on the errors of the individual. The Abyss will learn of you, will seek to exploit you. And if it is given the opportunity, it will devour you, if not turn you into one of its puppets that plague our clan.
Puppets, you say? The Abyss has taken over some in our membership?
The followers of the Abyss consider creation, the world that you see, to be a blight, an impurity in the sea of the Abyss, as they refer to it. They are either willing or no puppets to it. Rather than having mastered it, they have sacrificed their will for understanding, an unworthy trade for unworthy people. And should I see the same signs come over yourself, I will not hesitate to end your life as well.
Memnon gives her a little bit of a smile. He says, then you would do me a service. I have no desire to lose my own self or my own being to the Abyss. Yes, I want its power, and I do want its understanding. What is the worth of power if it is wielded for you and not by your own hand?
If nothing else, you have an optimistic attitude towards the situation. But I should ask perhaps the most important question before we go any further. For you were attempting to seek one of us out. Rare. Often, we approach others. We choose our students rather than the other way around. So then, why should I teach you our clan's greatest secrets and dangers? Something that, if it were publicly known, could have us all burnt at the stake.
There is my personal, how do I say this? I don't want to say joy, I want to say, there is my own personal loyalties to the clan that I have. I enjoy being what I am. I do not bemoan status. And I take my responsibilities to my clanmates very seriously. I can assure you that for my own life and longevity, for I have plans and designs that stretch much further into the future, I would treat what I know and what I learn with utmost caution. I have no desire to make great grandeur displays as some titan walking the earth.
Normally you would have been turned away if not silenced, but I have neither the inclination nor the age and authority to perform such an act. Won't be myself testing you, however. The Abyss does that for us. If you do wish, and are truly committed to this course, you must not make the mistake of my sire, who was so divided in focus.
I'm sorry, Chris, were you done speaking? Okay.
She does literally trail off, letting kind of giving you an opportunity to respond.
Okay. Yes, Memnon would ask, what exactly was the mistake that he made?
As I said, he focused more on the politics of the city than his own understanding of the Abyss. A particularly grievous sin for one of his road, but still a dangerous mistake to make when one is dealing with an entity so malevolent and large in scope. He cut corners and took chances. It destroyed him. I shall make it very clear that I shall take none of the responsibility if such a thing were to happen to you.
It would be a dishonor upon my own self if you did. My mistakes are my own.
I suppose we shall see. Initiation into such dark arts are as varied as they are dangerous. Should you decide to go down this path, you'll find yourself changed, if you're fortunate. So if you wish to continue, this will be your last opportunity to walk away.
Memnon, he's not going to just say anything. He's just going to keep standing there. Trying to transmit the idea. No. I'm not walking away.
Okay. As you stay there, every second that you remain there, the candles kind of begin to go out again, kind of one per second, until the only one that remains is on the table itself. This kind of just old dusty table in a featureless room that is now almost completely blackened. And the last thing you kind of see in this tiny insignificant candlelight is you only see in here Zoya kind of getting up and the chair being pushed back. It's the candle is snuffed out by her own two hands. She'll make a roll. Da, 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 da. Okay. It's difficulty. Oh wow, that's really funny.
Oh, I'm not laughing at you, but I'm just laughing because I don't think this is good for the both of us.
No, that's pretty bad. So can you she's gonna have to do it as well. She's gonna invest some blood into this. Can you make me 5 stamina checks?
5 stamina checks, sure.
You can spend willpower on these. You'll want to you will also I will also say that there will be permanent negative side effects should you fail any one of them, the severity going up relative to your amount of failures. You cannot botch these though.
Okay. Can I spend blood for stamina?
Yes, you can.
Hey.
How much are you spending?
I'm gonna spend two blood
Okay, you're
points.
gonna go. Oh, you're gonna go to hunger. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If I spend the blood, do you want me to do the self-control roll for the hunger first, or?
No, you can't even see. You can barely. In fact, you can't really sense anything right now.
Okay.
You can't see. You can hear nothing. You can't smell anything. It just feels very, very cold. I'll have you make your rolls first.
Just stamina.
Just down there.
I'm gonna spend a willpower for the first roll just to see how it goes. Willpower, just willpower. Okay, there's 9 in there.
That's good. That's a lot of successes. Also, keep track of your current willpower.
Okay, so I believe I started this month with 7.
Okay.
My maximum is 8. So this is the first one I spent. Okay, so let's wing the second one. Try to save some willpower. What was the diff? 8 or
Standard.
standard? Okay. Okay. 2 success there.
Actually, no, I'll say considering the nature of the situation and what is forcing these stamina rolls, it would probably be 8, yeah.
Okay.
These are a really nasty set of rolls.
All right, I'll spend that next willpower here. So down to I spent 2 so far. 5.
Okay. That is
That's a
3
success.
successes.
All right, no whammies. Yeah.
Oh, single success.
All right. And yeah, I'm just going to cover my ass here. So that would be a total of 3. So I'm going to be down to 4 willpower. That was needed.
Yeah, that was a really bad roll. Okay, so what happens is the final light goes out. Suddenly the room is pitch black. You feel nothing. You feel literally nothing. The only thing you feel is this sort of cold emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
And just moments after the candlelight goes out, the emptiness suddenly just becomes crushing. It's almost as if the room's walls just closed in on you, as if you're literally being flattened, and you feel these. It's almost as if as you're being crushed, as you feel like your body kind of being driven through the table. You feel your flesh almost being flayed, as if the skin is being stripped from your torso in particular, and something is being reached around, and like something starts prying in your chest, in your rib cage. You can literally feel your rib cages is snapped and shuffled. Your organs are twisted and into all sorts of alien shapes, as almost a room is being made for something to fit or to be removed.
Mm-hmm.
Until about a full 5 minutes of this, as you're only barely able to maintain your structure, your form, any real sense of anything. As your blood briefly runs cold, you kind of feel the color, what little of it is left, drained from your face and your body, but you manage to keep some manner of perhaps once mortal heat in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
Some manner of essence in it, in yourself. Eventually the darkness dims again, and you feel it rather forcibly pushed back. And there is no candlelight, but it's certainly not as dark as it was before. And that sort of presence you were sensing is gone.
Okay. Is Does Memnon like find himself? So he finds himself back in the room. Does he find himself?
You find yourself below the room, or in a different room. Oh shit! Yeah, can you make me a willpower check as well? Permanent willpower.
Sure.
Just let me check diff for you. This is actually something I have not made up on the spot. It's actually pretty important.
Do I roll my rating or my pool?
Your full rating. So it's not your temporary willpower. It is your full willpower.
Diff was 8. And I got 4 successes.
You're good. So you find yourself at the edge. And you see, okay, so to give you a structure of a room, this room is very, has 2 torches by its entrance, or by its exit in this case. They're the only lights in the room. You can see the entrance and like the first meter, kind of square meter or 2 of the room fairly clearly, although it is very dim. The rest of the room is just a sort of cloud, like a nocturne.
Okay.
You can't see through this nocturne. You can't perceive anything across it. You cannot sense anything from it other than that same sense of presence that you felt before. The only real difference it seems to have to a nocturne is that a nocturne is fairly static. It is very much controlled by its user. So the first immediate thing is that you do not see Zoya anywhere. And the second is that this sort of nocturne seems to move of its own accord and seems to take form. You see arms of Ahriman, you see what appear to be, in a manner of speaking, eyes, or kind of black balls of shadow. It's hard to say. They're very inky, but they just stick out.
Like,
and they kind of come and go, and it's a very amorphous and it's ever shifting.
I think that's what could be referred to as like spatial distortion.
It's very much distorted. It only seems to be limited by certain boundaries. It does not approach you or this sort of safe zone in the room.
And you said there was no discernible exit. Is there? Can I make out a ceiling? Does it look like there's a limit to the height of this room?
Yes, it's actually not that large, or rather, not that tall. The ceiling is actually made of fairly rugged stone. There are no wooden implements at all. Everything in here is non-flammable. Even the door is made of stone.
Oh, okay, so there's a door.
That is the exit that I was referring to.
Oh,
okay. It is on the other side of this room. It's in the safe area that you're in.
I see.
Actually, the rest of the room is taken up by this amorphous black mass. That is all there is.
Hmm. Uh, if Memnon was to try to open the door, would it give way or is it locked?
I would give way. As you exit, do you see a shift in the blackness? Um, it's more like a small rift opening, like a tear in cloth, as if you damaged your clothes. And you see a familiar hand begin to pull the rest of her out of the rift. Um, highly bloodied and damaged. Um, a broken arm. She only appears to be using one arm. She pulls herself through and then closes it shut um, by just pulling the opening in the rift back over. And then rather violently with her one good hand, shoving back her this amorphous mass, kind of lengthening the sort of safe area. As she kind of hobbles towards you. Sort of a very object lesson in what she warned you about.
Hmm. Um, I suppose Memnon would ask her if she's all right. And I know, but that's kind of par for the course in terms of all right application. But yeah, I guess he would just at least call out to her to see if needs any assistance.
I don't know, it's quite all right. This arm was broken from the start, she says, very very dry fashion. Clearly unamused by your offers of help and by this entire situation.
Um, I suppose Memnon would ask.
Do you know how to close an oubliette? Don't answer that.
Okay, he doesn't. I suppose he would ask if what happened was what she desired to happen.
The abyss is an unstable force. I had a mind to direct it towards you to see if you could survive much of its rigors. What I did not expect is for it to lash out as harshly as it did. In many capacities, the Abyss has found you wanting, but you have survived the first trial that it will throw at you.
What should I expect of the next trial?
There can be nothing else until you have properly educated yourself on the Abyss.
Very well. Is there, I don't want to say reading material, but God, is there a repository of knowledge regarding the Abyss?
To my knowledge, I am the only practitioner of this magic in the city.
Oh,
I shall be the one teaching you Do not deviate from the subject matter. Do not attempt to experiment. This will be something you can do once you have mastered the fundamentals. To even consider it now will only result in your own death. And I did not put my own existence at risk to see you fail at the second hurdle.
I am honored now that I see the risk in teaching as well as learning involved. I will do as you say, and I will follow your guidance. I will not deviate as you say. So, is there something that I must read, hear, or come to an understanding first?
Spend more time mastering your knowledge of occult theory. You'll need it.
Yes.
Understanding all forms of the mystical is imperative to understanding our magics. You'll find many different pieces of folklore and teachings always have something regarding our own within them. And it'll give you a greater breadth of understanding regarding our own magics.
I see. Are there any particular books you would recommend that would focus more on the element of the abyss?
She seems somewhat amused. This is not exactly public knowledge. What few tomes would exist would undoubtedly be kept within the resting place of our elders and our own progenitor.
Inwardly,
I have some
sorry.
material that I've been producing. That is all you'll have to work with.
Very well. You have me as your student. I would study very diligently.
Good. I shall see you tomorrow night then, so we can begin proper. For the record, her wounds look aggravated.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't seem to be the most receptive to help, but yes, Memnon would. I think Memnon might just for his own self-interest ask her if is there anything he can help her with as far as her wounds.
I shall be fine. I have a sizable herd.
Very well. Again, I am grateful. I will not dishonor you or disappoint you.
I should certainly hope not. I would see you out, but I doubt these wounds are... Well, they do not leave me in a position to exactly wander around openly. So I shall merely politely ask that you take your leave now.
Very well. You have a good evening, and I hope your recovery is swift. And, yeah, Memnon will make his way out. Is there anything you need me to roll, like my self-control?
Yes, you are hungry, so yes, you will need to roll self-control. It's the end of a scene, so I'll just say it'll be 1, but it will be diff 6. Try not to kill anyone. So much food.
You know, it's just not polite to rampage through your new mentor's feeding place. That would...
Yeah, that's not good. That went in poorly, no sir.
Very uncouth.
Well, that's fortunate. For a second, we were going through it so much that I thought we really were going to jinx it, and you were just going to dismantle this place. But no, you're fine, as it turns out. So you are able to leave for the evening, but it is more at the back of your head for the rest of it. However, I think there we can end our scene with a new initiate into the dark arts, with a new mentor, albeit a fairly blasé one, interestingly. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time.